everybody. It's Cindy Matalucci, your host of The Pulse and Live with Cindy. How are we? It's October. We have officially made it into fall, I think, although the weather seems to be a little confused that it's not fall. I mean, you guys, the weather has been crazy. It's been hot. It's been cool. It's been lightning. We've had storms. We've had rain. The weather can't make up its mind, but that's okay. I'm manifesting fall. Boots, sweaters. I'm manifesting it now. Plus, I have to say, we are really lucky that we live in San Diego. We have amazing weather here. I know other states are like struggling. My hearts are going out to Louisiana right now. They've had such a tough time. I can't believe it. So, our hearts and our prayers go out with you guys. And we are just lucky. So we should be grateful that we live in San Diego with the weather that we have and not complain, right? Okay, you guys, so I want to thank our sponsors for the show. We have fabulous sponsors that support us. We want to thank Coffee Ambassador that caffeinates us, our staff, and our guests, because we don't do anything without the coffee. We do the coffee, then we do the things, right? and the food. We love to eat here at The Pulse, but we like to have healthy snacks. So Flax for Life, they're amazing. They just celebrated their 20 years in business as well. They're fabulous. So thank you guys so much for being supportive and giving us the food and the coffee here, because we really appreciate it. Okay, you guys, so I have a fun fact. It's fun fact time. You know I love my stats and my facts. So I've been trying to diet. I've been trying to eat better. I've been trying to not drink as much. I'm trying to be healthy. I know a lot of us are, with COVID and everything. I had, gained weight and then I lost weight, so I'm back up again. So long story short, I'm trying to do well. But you know that I love cheese. Cheese is my kryptonite. What's your kryptonite?
Oh, cheese is definitely popcorn.
Oh, but popcorn can be healthy.
Yes, it is. But cheese, not so much.
So you guys,
I'm a salt girl.
I know. I love the salt. I love cheese. You guys know that. I'm always like cheese. But I try not to do dairy. So it's kind of like it's hard for me. So the funny thing about the cheese is I was thinking, well, why did I gain 11 pounds? And then Israel and I were looking at my Instagram photos. Every single time, cheese board. So people, go through your phone of what you're eating, because it will tell you. It'll be the footprint of what's going on with your lifestyle. So the whole reason I'm telling you this is because I'm not the only one that has a cheese problem. Listen to this. The average American eats 34 pounds of cheese a year.
Oh, wow.
34 pounds of cheese. So you're not alone out there, but I'm trying to be better. So stay with me. I know we were talking about my transformation stuff. So it's going to be happening. I'm working with Lauren Griffith. So that's happening. So cheese.
So my photos have champagne. So what does that say about me?
I'm not even going to talk about my champagne and wine photos.
All right.
That's okay, though. Hey, they say wine is good for you.
But champagne, they say it's very good
It's
for
very,
you.
it's good for you.
Good for your memory.
Right? Exactly. All right, you guys. So we're going to get started on the show. I'm so excited. You know that we love films. We love red carpets at The Pulse. We love to celebrate all the filmmakers out there. And every year we absolutely love covering San Diego Film Festival. And we love when Tonya comes on our show. So welcome back, Tonya Mantooth, CEO and Artistic Director.
Thank you for having me, Cindy. Always a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, we love having you. We were just talking about how we've been working together in the different, events that you've been having over the years.
Yep.
So first of all, I have to congratulate you. 20 years. It's your anniversary in October. How does it feel?
You know what? It's really amazing. I mean, especially to see the growth in 10 years, and that's how long I've been involved. To take it from where we had it, and now today, it's really incredible. Obviously, the last couple of years have been challenging, but we've just learned to pivot and still create a great experience.
Well, yeah, and you guys have great people supporting you as well. Great sponsors, great things that are happening. So we love it, and you always have the best movies. So we're going to talk about that too. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is I know it hasn't been an easy path, right, to get here, but you have made some amazing strides when it comes to the film industry and social change. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because obviously there's been an increase in female filmmakers, as well as talking about global issues and different issues. So can we talk a little bit about that?
You know what, on the issue of kind of big global social topics, that's something that we've always been really passionate about, because and the way I program as an artistic director is like, let's find a topic that's really important, and then let's program it that talks about both sides. Let's bridge the divide and not increase the divide. It's like, let's have that conversation. Until we can have that conversation, we really can't develop a sense of empathy. So that's been so important. I mean, we brought in really tough subjects like sex trafficking early on when nobody was talking about it, important environmental issues, all of those things are important for us to talk about, but we have to talk about it in a place where everybody gets a voice, and that's important. But the issue of female filmmakers, you know what? Obviously,
Yes.
I'm super happy when I see from 10 years ago the number of female filmmakers that submitted to today. It's so incredible. And it's not just, Cindy, what's interesting, it's not just about the numbers, but it's the topics they take on and really bold approaches. So it's like early on, you saw a lot of women, they took on very kind of small, intimate stories. Well, the new female filmmakers, they didn't get that memo. They take on really bold topics, and they're really experimental, and they're really out there. And I'm so proud of the women and the females that are coming out. And it's also reflected in the film festival. It's reflected in the films that we've programmed, and also in the studio films.
I love that. And I also wanted to talk about a film that's important to you, right? Because we were talking about this, Finding Fellowship. That's an interesting film that you have. Can we talk a little bit about that one? The panel?
That film really touched me because it really is about a town that's been racially divided for generations. And because of a circumstance, they have to share a church. And what happens and the transformation that takes and how this community comes together is such an interesting exploration of why we don't need that divide, and why ultimately, we can come together and see each other. We can all still have our differences, but we don't have to be divided. And so I think this film really explores that, and I'm so honored. We've got two panel members, one Leon Clark, who's the Vice President General Manager, KGTV, another one, Michael Bruckner, who was the former Executive Director for Jackie Robinson YMCA, and really dedicated his life to keeping kids out of gangs and to turning their lives around. So it's really going to be a conversation around, this issue of racial divide, and how do we have a place where people can come together and really, find the commonality.
It's perfect timing, too, for this right now.
Yeah.
It's such a great conversation. I think it really needs to be had, so I'm excited about that. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, too, and I know I ask you this every year, but you get so many submissions, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what, you had 3,000 this year?
Yes.
I mean, I just still don't know how you do it, how you curate everything.
It cuts down on my Netflix binge watching, that's for sure. But actually, we, and they came from 65 countries. And when you think about that, it's like filmmakers around the world, they have hundreds and hundreds of choices. So to choose ours is really, I feel truly grateful. But we have screeners that come in, and they start watching in January. So we open submissions. So as soon as we close one festival, we're prepared to open back up in January, and we start watching all the way through July. So I've got incredible screeners, incredible programmers that work with me and work with my programming team. And so, yeah, it's all year long, and it's so difficult to take 3,000, I think this year was 3,100, down to 160 films.
I was going to ask you what the final number is.
That is so painful, Yeah, but ultimately we end up with an incredibly well-curated programming team.
Well, you guys just announced your lineup, so we have to talk about this. I'm really excited. So opening night, you've got Come On.
Come On with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, that looks amazing. I love him.
Yeah.
I love everything he does.
This film is a really interesting look at, and I thought it was an interesting film to open with because it's about a man, he's a radio journalist, and he's traveling across the country with his nephew. And it really is about getting back to the magic of being a child and having family. And I think if we learned anything in the last 18 months, is how much we really value family. And I think we all kind of reflected on our lives. And that's what this is about. It's a really intimate film. It's in black and white, which there's two films in the festival and the studio premieres that are black and white, this one in Belfast.
Wow.
But there's an intimacy in the black and white that is interesting. So I think it'll be a very moving experience.
I love that. And then I'm excited about the closing film, which is The Lost Daughter, Maggie Gyllenhaal. That's her directorial debut, right?
Yep. This film was really powerful. When you talk about, not only is it her, her debut as a director, also as a screenwriter, but it is a really bold film. Stars Olivia Colman, Ed Harris, Peter Skarsgård, Dakota Johnson, credible cast. It is really a powerful film. And all the reviews have been phenomenal. She won Best Screenplay in Venice, which is practically unheard of, and your first time out. So I'm really, really excited to share that film.
Well, and talking about female filmmakers, that resonates with what we were just talking about,
Yes,
right? It's
absolutely.
this kind of bold film.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I mean, and I love those. I mean, Ed Harris, I had a chance to interview him. He is amazing.
Oh.
That was like, I was so nervous. I'm not that nervous. I was nervous when I interviewed him. So I'm really excited about that. That's an amazing cast. And I'm also dying to see Spencer. We got to talk about Spencer.
Oh, yeah.
It was so funny. We were loading the pictures for the show today, and my assistant producer was like, there's no pictures of Kristen Stewart. I'm like, no, that's Kristen Stewart. I mean, she really transformed.
Her transformation is unbelievable. If somebody said Kristen Stewart's going to play Princess Diana, I'd be like, wow, how's that going to happen?
Right.
But she does, and her mannerisms and what she brings to it, it's a very, very different look at her life. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not a biopic, but a lot of people think that Kristen Stewart will be nominated for Best Actress. She definitely has a chance of that. Olivia Colman, they say she'll definitely be nominated for Best Actress for Lost Daughter. But going back to Spencer, it really takes this short span of time and what she experiences. And so I believe that the phrase is, it's a true story, or it's a fable based on a true story. That's how they start the film.
Okay.
So they really take license with what she experienced, so it's a different take on it, which I think people will appreciate, because I think everybody's seen the chronology of her life. And so now it's a little bit of a deeper exploration.
Well, yeah, and it's her deciding to leave her marriage, right?
Yep.
So I'm really, really excited about this. And you guys are doing this at the Museum of Photographic Arts in Balboa Park, right?
Yes.
And that's on the 15th?
That's on the 15th, yes. We're going to be in Balboa Park for 3 days, Thursday and Friday at Museum of Photographic Arts. On the Saturday, we're going to be at the San Diego Museum of Art.
Okay, so we have to talk about the footprint. This leads me to my next question, because I know it's been tough with everything going on the last few years, but this year it's going to be kind of a combination, like a hybrid.
It is.
In person and virtual.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's our 20th anniversary, so we wanted to celebrate, and yet we knew we had to adjust and modify and, again, take another pivot. But one of the things we really want to do is kind of celebrate San Diego as well. And that's why we chose to be in Balboa Park for 3 days. Then we moved the festival to the Catamaran on Mission Bay, and it's about kind of really celebrating that. And then we close the festival with an event on the Midway downtown. So it really is about celebrating San Diego as well as celebrating our 20th anniversary.
And the beautiful locations that we have. And it's going to be smaller, right? So it's not,
Yes.
as big. Do you know how many attendees you think you'll have at those? Or?
You know what? We're waiting to see what our final numbers are, but you're right. It is a smaller footprint. We really wanted to be sensitive to how people feel, which is why we've created a great virtual option.
Okay.
But it's a chance for people to come together, and our cocktail parties are all outside. They're much more intimate. So
and people want to get together.
And people want to get together, and they want to get together in a way that still feels safe.
And they want to see movies.
Yep.
They want to see, well, and I'm really excited about the Catamaran. I love the Catamaran. So on the 17th, right, it's all-inclusive food and wine, curated by renowned chefs at the resort. I mean, so San Diego.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful spot. And then also, it's Arzik, since 1986, is playing, right?
Yeah.
At that one.
So that film really explores the Basque cuisine. And then so all the chefs will prepare a dish inspired by the film. So everybody sees the film up in the screening rooms, and then they go down on the lawn, and that's where we do the food and wine pairing. It's kind of a painful time.
Oh, I'm going to that.
It's not that fun.
I'm definitely going to be at that one.
Overlooking the bay on a beautiful Sunday.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Wine, food, movies. It's like right up my alley. So you guys, you have to go online, and we obviously will have everything with tickets and how to get your information. But I want to talk about your partnership with RTAG and the event on the USS Midway, because this sounds really special.
You know what? I'm really passionate about the military. We've always supported the military and always curated a whole series of films on that. And really because I think it's important for people to kind of understand what's the plight of what do veterans come back to. So while we all say thank you for your service, sometimes we don't really know what it is they come back and what their lives are like, and how do they integrate back into the kind of the civilian life. So this organization, I've known the gentleman that started it for years and years. It's specifically to help veterans find employment, because The rate of unemployment with returning veterans is higher than PTSD.
Oh my gosh.
It is such a struggle for them. And so that's what this event is about, is to really shine a light on that.
Okay.
So we're going to be on the top flight deck of the Midway. We're going to have an incredible film called Hornet's Nest, which follows two photojournalists in bed with a troop in Afghanistan. And what they don't realize is they become under fire. It's a major battle. It's all captured in this film.
Wow.
And it's going to be very moving. And I think it's going to be a great experience. And it'll give us a chance to really tell that story and support military vets.
I love that, and I love the Midway. It's like the best. I mean, it's just, you walk on there and you just get that feeling.
Yeah.
Because we're a military town here in San Diego.
Yep.
So we have to support that. So that's amazing. Okay, so I have to talk about some things that you launched that are really exciting. So earlier this year, you launched the SD Film Fest channel, right? Which is monthly film screenings and filmmaker Q&As.
Yes, on our interactive platform. Yeah, been very successful.
That's amazing. And so is that on YouTube, or where would we find that?
No,
is it on your website?
It's just on our interactive platform. So when you come in,
okay,
you get to see the film, and then we do a live Q&A with the filmmaker from around the world, and you get to interact with them. You get to ask your questions. So it's very, very interactive, and our audiences loved it.
That's amazing. Okay, so then you guys also you launched the first ever San Diego International Shorts Fest, right?
Yes. Which
I think is exciting because there's no other way to see shorts except for a film festival.
And sometimes, Cindy, people overlook the shorts during a regular festival. And so that's why we wanted to highlight them. And what's interesting about short films is it's really kind of a calling card for filmmakers. It's like, it gives them a chance to create their voice. Mm-hmm. And so you get to see like the next Tarantinos or the next Scorseses and see them in that early stage. But it's also, what I find interesting is a bit of a bellwether for what's going on in the world, because it's so much faster to get to screen. They'll take on social topics that we don't see in long format films for about a year and a half.
Wow.
So it's really interesting to see those topics kind of galvanized through short films. So I'm a huge fan. It's a big way to support young filmmakers.
And that's in your virtual village, right?
That is.
This is so cool. So you guys, again, you can find out everything online, but where do we want people to go? If they want to get tickets or they want to find out more about it, they go to your website, right? sdfilmfest.com.
sdfilmfest.com. And this year we really wanted to make it economical for people. So if you just want to see the in-person screenings, we've kept it really reasonable. If you just want to do virtual, it is so reasonable to watch films for 9 days. 150 films that'll screen on the virtual.
That's right, it's 9 days, the 14th to the 26th, right?
Yeah, right.
That's amazing. And then do you have anything, like any announcements or anything you want to mention before we go today?
You know what I really appreciate is I think whether you want to do the virtual or you want to come in person, I think either way, film, and you and I have talked about this for many years, is such a transformational piece.
Yeah.
And so, to take the time to see films from around the world that you never will get a chance to see, and really kind of walk away a little bit different and have a different perspective. And so, I get so excited at this time of year, and I'm really thrilled to roll this out. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, we love having you. Plus, I think, what you were saying too, the last 2 years, I mean, gosh, I know I watched a bunch of movies to make me feel better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, Netflix, I'm like, what am I going to watch next? I mean, I think everybody really drew to music and film from a lot of people that I talked to. So I think it's more important than ever to have that.
Yeah.
Because I think it really lifts the spirit. So we're just excited about everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
We love it, you guys. Okay, so next week, everybody, we've got Hunt and Gather, my little vintage place that I love in North Park. They just celebrated, I think she just had like her 20 years or something too. Everyone's having like their 20 years. But it's really hard, and she's been around for a long time. So we're going to have this great fashion segment. We're also doing a TV segment on her, so we're going to kick it off on the live show. So tune in to see vintage at its finest, and I'll be rocking something fun. And then you guys, we're going to end with a commercial on the San Diego Film Festival. So I want you to check this out. We have a little commercial for you, and then be safe, be nice to each other this weekend, and we'll see you next time when we put our finger on the pulse of San Diego. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the San Diego It's the San Diego International Film Festival's 20th anniversary, celebrating throughout San Diego. Enjoy in-person screenings in Balboa Park, Mission Bay, and downtown San Diego. Be the first to see film premieres. Plus, 10 days of virtual screenings and chats with filmmakers. Join the celebration, October 14th through the 24th. Learn more at sdfilmfest.com.